Wow, Joe, those ideas are really helpful. Community, transforming Bible study, mission. Could you give us some practical ways to do those things? Could you give us maybe an example of each?
Well, I mean, the last time I led a small group, I was leading a small group of couples with children in their 30s, and so this may not translate as much, but we would just sort of do dinner together, and so just doing something together that you like to do. That's not just a formal meeting. I think that's one of the most important things to do in terms of facilitating community. And the other thing would be at meetings, finding ways for people to talk about themselves and creating space. In our small group, we had someone who's there's some sexual abuse involved in one of in terms of a child care situation that came up, and creating a lot of space to wrestle through how to handle that legally and as a Christian, you know, and making sure that people knew that that was what this place was for, was to be able to talk about really difficult things like that, and to be tearful and prayerful, and to be able to share with the really difficult kinds of things. And I think that that's the other thing, is creating space when you are together, to say that those things are welcome, and it's not just let's get through the agenda.
Okay. So that's facilitating community. The second idea was transforming or life-altering encounter with God through Scripture study, some idea like that?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy Bible study, and I enjoy the conversation and analysis part of it, and it's possible to do that without having life change. I think that's one of the dangers, maybe particularly for people who are good at analysis. It's important to do a good analysis. I think you need to understand the Bible well. So what I try to do is to try to have Bible studies that are interesting, you know, where you. But the other thing is to make sure that when you're asking questions in the Bible study that relate to someone's life, that just connect with your experience. When I've led a small group, the first 3 weeks, all we do is the first week, you know, we study a passage that talks about community, and a lot of that, 75% of the Bible study is not analysis, but rather asking people what's their experience with community. Now, as later on, as we develop more trust with each other, we'll spend more time in digging through the passage, but I set the precedent fairly early that it's connecting Scripture to our lives is what we're doing. And so at the beginning, there's not so much analysis, a lot of like, how have you seen this in your life for the first few weeks in Bible study.
And then the third idea of like using gifts for mission or that sort of thing, like what would that look like?
Yeah, this has been a real struggle for a lot of small groups that I've been in. A lot of them, I mean, we've tried to do things, the closest we've done together would be to like try to do a service project together, and those things, frankly, they're a struggle to do it and feel authentic unless you start off with a premise that this small group is going to be involved with that particular service ministry. But where I've seen it particularly helpful is in the